Think your cholesterol is fine? You might still be on the fast track to diabetes, Alzheimer's, or a heart attack, and your doctor never ordered the one test that could have warned you 10 years earlier. This test costs $20 and can literally change your life. Hi, I'm Marc Bates. I'm a metabolic health coach, and this is part of my question and answer series. Your doctor is ignoring this blood test, and it could save your life. Let's get to the question. You're describing mitochondrial medicine versus symptom masking. In your direct experience with patients, what's the most resistance you've encountered when trying to get someone to test fasting insulin instead of just focusing on cholesterol numbers? Well, it happens all the time. The most consistent and sometimes intense resistance I've encountered in trying to get someone or even their physician to prioritize fasting insulin over cholesterol comes down to three recurring themes. First one, my doctor says it's not necessary. Many people report their doctors brush it off with statements like, your cholesterol is fine, there's no need to check your insulin. This reflects a large paradigm where cardiovascular risk is still framed around LDL cholesterol, despite evidence that insulin resistance precedes and drives dyslipidemia, hypertension, inflammation, arteriosclerosis. My response is, I'll explain that you have normal cholesterol and still be deeply metabolically sick. Fasting insulin often reveals pathology 10 to 20 years before glucose or HbA1c will do. You're not looking for disease. You're looking for the early warning signs that the most conventional labs miss. Number two, insurance or lab pushback. Patients are often told, it's not covered. It's not part of the standard panel. It won't change our treatment plan anyway. Even functional clinicians encounter resistance from labs or insurers because fasting insulin is not yet a routine marker like lipid panels. This makes it seem optional or esoteric. Well, my approach is to remind clients that it's a $20 to $40 test, probably closer to $20, that may save them thousands in future medications, surgeries, or lost vitality. I also provide direct-to-consumer lab options if needed. And in almost every state in the union, you have the right to order your own labs these days, for the most part. 3. Cholesterol fear-mongering. Some patients are paralyzed by outdated beliefs about cholesterol, especially LDL. But my LDL is high. Isn't that dangerous? If I eat more fat or fast, won't that make my cholesterol worse? They've been indoctrinated to fear saturated fat and elevated cholesterol, even in the absence of inflammation, insulin resistance, or high triglycerides. So I try to reframe them. I show them the context that matters. Their triglyceride to HDL ratio. It's a surrogate for insulin sensitivity. If they have it, okay, so inflammation comes into play here. And then fasting insulin as a better root cause predictor than LDL ever is, because LDL is really not that bad for you, right? Okay. So let's talk about why fasting insulin matters. I emphasize that fasting insulin is the early warning system. Elevated insulin drives fatty liver, PCOS, Alzheimer's, which is also now known as type 3 diabetes, erectile dysfunction, obesity and cravings, and yes, heart disease via endothelial damage and vascular inflammation. Waiting for fasting glucose or cholesterol to signal trouble is like waiting for smoke after the fire's already raging. Okay? So, how do I overcome this resistance? Well, I use a lot of analogies. Would you wait for your brakes to fail before checking the fluid, as an example? Data. I show them their previous lab trends, explain how insulin could be the missing link behind stalled weight loss or rising blood pressure. I also take them through all the standard protocols for metabolic disease, which does not normally require a lot of lab work. And they can see that they are on the road to metabolic disease already. And there are always stories. Patients are moved more by stories than statistics, and I share success cases where insulin testing opened the door to real, measurable change without medication. Okay, everyone. Thanks for watching. If you want to, please ask questions, comment in the appropriate section. If you have anything you'd like me to try and do for you, this is a community in terms of a video to investigate something, let me know. If you haven't done so, please like, subscribe, share this video. Somebody out there may need this information if you don't. And thank you all for being part of the community.